on the building. It's a true foundation. I'm holding up the blood. I'm working on the building. It's a true foundation. I'm holding up the blood. I'm working on the building. It's a true foundation. I'm holding up the blood.
Welcome to the Under Construction Podcast live here on Facebook.
We live, fellas. Let's go.
Let's go. So we have a dope conversation for you tonight. But before we get into it, let's introduce the crew. First, we have KJ.
Yo, what's up?
We got Cordell.
What up? What up?
We got AJ. And I'm T-Dub. Welcome to the pod. We got a dope conversation for you guys tonight. But first, share, like, comment, subscribe. Join us in the conversation. That's the reason why we're going live tonight. We want to get some involvement. So lock in with us. Share your thoughts. Share your concerns. Whether you agree, disagree, we want to hear what you have to say. So lock in with us. Tonight's conversation is going to be authority versus influence. Yeah. Right? And before we get into it, let's just give you our definitions of what those things are. KJ, you want to hit them with the definitions for us?
For sure. Authority is the power or right to give orders, make decisions, and enforce obedience. And for influence, we have the capacity to have an effect on character, pardon me, on the character development or behavior of someone or something, or the effect itself.
Yes, sir. So now that we got those definitions of what we consider authority versus influence, let's get into the conversation. Cordell, thoughts?
Oh, man. So when I think of authority first, I think of it as something that has to be given to you. Something that's a power that has to be given to you. Mm-hmm. And then when I think of influence, I think it's more relational. Yeah. Where it's not given to you, but it's almost power that you've kind of earned based on who you are. So that's how I look at it between the two. And they can seem similar, but they're totally different when it comes to relational and dealing with people. And we'll get a little bit more into it. So that's my first, on that part.
Yeah, I agree. For me, authority, just to break it down in simple terms, is kind of like a title that's given, right? Mm-hmm. An office or rules, right? Like they have the authority of how you dictate how you handle things within a certain location, right? And for influence, I have trust, respect, and inspiration, right? More about the feelings that you get from the person versus what they're telling you to do in terms of different types of leadership.
So, I'll say basically it's all the same thing, but the only thing I'll add is authority. You only can get authority from someone who has authority. So someone has to already be in position in order to give you that position. That's how you get authority. So like your manager at work didn't just choose to be the manager. Somebody above them said, you're the manager now. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how authority works. And I think influence is more like the people's champ. If you think of wrestling, The Rock, it's just the thing that the people want, as opposed to somebody who was in power giving that person power. But now the influence is based off of, like you said, your previous acts. That now I can look at it and say, you know what, I think you would fit well in this position, or I want to see you in this light based off of your previous actions.
Well, what about politics?
So, if I was going to take it to politics.
No, I'm just saying, because you said somebody has to have the authority to give someone authority.
So technically they do. So, at least in our country, the way you become president, people feel like it's the popular vote, but the popular vote doesn't actually get you into presidential candidacy. You actually have to win the electoral college. The electoral college is basically the House of Representatives, and the people in the Senate vote. And there's everybody has their state representatives. They have their house, their city councilors and stuff like that. Those people vote on behalf of their state. So they'll say, all right, Massachusetts is a democratic state. So your hope is that your city councilors, your senators and stuff like that vote as Democrats. But they have a choice because they speak for the people. However, they can choose what they want realistically.
Yeah, so let's jump into it, guys. So let's jump into like real world applications, right? So like in the workplace, right? We're all working gentlemen, right? So in the workplace, do we follow because people have authority or because we want to, based on their influence?
So I had down in my notes, it says, and I wrote this when I was thinking about it earlier. Authority makes people follow because they have to. Mm-hmm. Influence makes people follow because they want to.
Right.
And to go with the question, I think you can have authority but no influence.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you can have influence with no authority.
Absolutely.
Right? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But so I think it's important to, as a leader, to know to be a person of authority, but also you want influence too. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's good to have a balance so that I don't just want to lead people just because I have the authority, but I want them to be able to follow my lead because of my influence. You know what I mean? Right. Mm-hmm. And because of the person of who I am, and they know that I care about them. Mm-hmm. I think people are more easier to buy in when they know that you actually care about them, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me, that sounds like trust.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right? When you have authority, but people don't trust your decision making, it's tough for people to buy in, right? And even when you have influence, people may like the way you communicate, right? In the way that you operate in a certain environment, right? But if they don't trust in the fact that you're making good decisions, that you have a high level of character and a value, it's tough to get the buy-in.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I liken it to this because we were talking about just working. Everybody has that manager or that supervisor that you feel like, I don't know how they got there. So, like, right. Like if we just go call a spade, like there's people that don't have that type of trust where, whereas you have that person that you are confident in, mm-hmm. that you may reside, your trust is in, who you're more likely to listen. So the manager might tell you to do something, and then it really depends on the person of influence, depending on the person, on what they do next. Because somebody might say, oh, the manager does it wrong. That doesn't actually work as a person of influence, and now you're conflicted. Or the person of influence also buys into what the manager says. Yeah, nah, I actually learned it from the manager. That's what we should be doing, and give like the confidence back into that manager, kind of to put that support system back in place. So yeah, I think it all depends on the person. I think it all depends on your experiences, on who you follow, whether it's authority or influence. Mm-hmm. However, if you don't follow authority, there are consequences. And if you don't follow influence, there's really nothing left to that.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah. Go ahead.
It depends on who's holding the cards.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because if one person has both cards,
right,
then like, you know what I mean? Like they're not necessarily going to compartmentalize. Like if you don't bend to their influence, but they have the authority, they may you could still be consequenced in that regard in a professional setting. You know, but I don't know. It's just it's tough and professional because like, you know, things aren't always going to be divided, and like it's not a requirement,
right,
to have influence or be personable,
right.
Like that may make things a little smoothed out in some situations that you need a massage. But honestly, like some of the best bosses have no personal relationships with you.
Very true.
So I mean, you know, like boundaries are important, and sometimes the fact that, you know, what people do to build relational equity with a person may mess around and like kind of undercut some of the authority, because then when they look at you, you know, one of the things you build is friendship. One of the things you build is trust. But when that friendship and or kinship is there, like sometimes it could be hard to tell someone what to do. Like sometimes without that personable element, people adhere to authority a little bit better.
Yeah, for sure. Jump down in the comments, guys. Share your thoughts. Share your opinions on what we got going on. Cordell is going to be moderating our chat for us tonight. So if you have anything, you know, share. Get involved.
We got comments already. Whoops.
So I think so that's a tough one. I love how KJ broke it down because in the workplace, right? It's not my job to be influential.
Right.
It's my job really to get the job done
Absolutely.
with the authority that I've been given.
Correct.
So there's times where, and then honestly, it works the same way in the church. Right? It's a hard thing because we want people to always be friendly and this and that. But it's like, if I'm a pastor, my job is to make sure, steward your soul.
I think it's tougher in the church.
It is.
Absolutely.
Because of that.
Yeah.
Because you're not in my opinion, it's not really suggested that you be so rigid.
Right.
Okay.
Whereas in the job, like that can be an unspoken truth that everybody automatically accepts. But if you're ruling with an iron fist in church, like you can end up being known as the mean guy or the bad guy.
Right.
You know, so that could be tough. Yeah.
And I think as a leader in the church, sometimes you gotta have both.
You got to have both. Yes.
Good cop, bad cop.
Yeah.
Jesus had both.
Yes. So I think it's a matter of you have to have stern thoughts. So having the authoritative power, you have to walk in that authority. But you also want to use your influence. Jesus had both, as you stated.
Yeah.
So you want people to feel confident in you as a pastor. You want people to feel confident in you as a minister, because you don't want congregations who don't feel comfortable coming to talk to you about stuff that you should be stewarding. Like I can't say that I'm doing a good job as a pastor if none of my congregations feel comfortable bringing up issues to me.
Yeah.
Like I can't say that.
Well, okay. You know, I'm going to challenge that.
Hit me.
Only because I believe that you could delegate.
Yes. Okay. I'll give you that.
Delegate, and you could put people in position that are amazing at relational equity. Like you could put people. What'd you say?
No, wait. I'll let you finish.
No, I was just saying. Like, I mean, if I felt like I wasn't the most personable,
Right.
okay. For example, let's. I'll give you the easiest example that pops into my head.
Yep.
Gender.
Okay.
So, as a man, I may not want to be as personable,
Right.
And as a married man or a responsible pastor, and with all the scandals that have happened historically
Yep,
with
right,
pastors
right.
overstepping boundaries, I may want to keep clear boundaries with my female patrons,
Right.
But what I may do is I may empower my wife
Right.
or someone else that's trusted that I believe in their faith walk, and delegate all these. Well, in our church we call them life groups, but make sure that people are like having like. For lack of better words, faith accountability partners, and be able to talk to them about what's going on with them personally, because I really don't want you calling me at 11 o'clock at night.
Right. Because it doesn't look right.
Unless it's really, really something where you're really not okay. Right. But other than that, I'd want your go-to not to be me.
So I agree with that. And I don't think there's a problem with discipleship and delegating tasks. However, even with that scenario, you have to have a relationship with the woman that you're putting in place. Because even if, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, in order to be a pastor, the pastor, if we go into the Bible, we talk about Jesus calls us the sheep of his flock. You know what I'm saying? If we're going into the Bible, you have to know your sheep. And not to say that, like, all right, I may not get into the weeds with everybody, but everybody should feel comfortable coming to the shepherd, because the shepherd is there to groom you. The shepherd is there to nurture you. The shepherd is there to feed you. The shepherd is there to give you drink. Like, the shepherd is there to take care of you, essentially. So I think we have to, not to say that we can't be stern, because some things we have to be stern with. There's some things that can't bend. There's some things that can't be broken. And there's other things that, all right, let me walk this through with kids' gloves so I can get you to the place where I want you to be, or the place where God wants you to be. Not me specifically, but where God is trying to take you. And it may, if God gives me that, it'll be better received from sister so-and-so or evangelist so-and-so or whatever, whichever title, then that's the thing. But when you're first starting out, you may not have all those positions or those roles filled. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you may have to kind of walk that thing out and then get to that place where you can say, all right, cool, this is going to be handled by so-and-so. Because going back to the influence thing, I've seen you and your work. I've seen what you've created. The Bible says that bad trees can't produce good fruit. So good trees have to produce good fruit. So knowing that, I got to be able to see your work and how you're working in the vineyard, how you treat the people around you. And now I can say, okay, you can assist me in nurturing these people.
Valuable point. Cordell, anything in the comments yet?
No, we ain't got nothing in the comments yet. Somebody said, "Oh yeah, what's up, T? Always speaking that truth."
Oh, okay.
Let's go.
Okay, appreciate
and that come from Jenny Kara.
All right. What's up, girl?
Believe that.
Yes, sir. All right. So we talked about it in the workspace. So let's talk about it. Half of the panel has the parenting title, right? So let's talk about parenting, authority versus influence, right? Is it better to, set rules and boundaries, or is it better to lead by example when it comes to parenting?
Ooh.
Both. I think it's both. The rules and boundaries for me, and I think it correlates to what God does for us. I put these rules in place to protect your life. Like, God didn't just give us the 10 commandments for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, these rules are not for you to just follow, but they're for you to sustain life. Right? Thou shalt not kill. It's for you to be the safety for you. So as parents, I think I set out rules because I need order in my house. And it's also for the benefit, even though you might not like it, it's to benefit you.
Right.
But also, I'm going to lead by example with the things that need to get done around the house, right? So I tell my son to take out the trash, but it's also important for him to see me do it too.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think it's important for us to lead by example, but also have, and also they need to know I ain't their friend. That's the authority aspect of it, right? Like, I'm your father. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I want to have a personal relationship with you, so I can have that influence to where I can be your friend. Right, but I'm not your friend. You know what I mean?
Right,
so
right,
that's
yeah.
kind of,
Yeah, to me, it sounds like continuity, right?
Yeah.
Like, I can set these rules in place, but I have to also follow them and lead
Yep.
by example to show you that not only am I telling you to do this, but I can follow it for myself, right? But I also understand that there's a point where I have to give you the responsibility of doing these things. I was doing this before you were here, right?
Yep.
So when you get to a certain age, it's now a point that you have to become a member of this family and be an active member, right? And now you have to do things to kind of pull your own weight, right? Because you don't have to pay bills, you don't have to keep the lights on, but you're benefiting from all of these things. So you can take some of the things off of my plate that I've been doing until you are willing and able to do some of those things.
Yep.
That's also a good point. All right, my next component, marriage, right? Authority in marriage and influence in marriage. Right, I'm getting ready to get married, right? So I'm going to take the Nestea plunge, as it were, So like, should I double down in leading in authority, or should I lead with influence?
I think with marriage is closer to influence, only because, like, you have the authority. God has given us the authority as the man, which is cool. But I want my wife to feel comfortable with my decisions. I want my wife to feel comfortable in what I say and the actions I take and the way that we're leading. And an only way for me to know that she feels comfortable is for me to be influential. I have to receive her buy-in. I have to receive her engagement. I have to know that she's comfortable, because when she's comfortable, everything runs smooth. But if she's not comfortable because I'm going from an authoritative place, now the relationship is stressed. Now maybe the kids are stressed because she's stressed. Like, a lot of stuff goes into that kind of ruling with the iron thumb, where now you can create little pockets of resentment, and little things that, like, you'll have to work through at some point because you kind of went too heavy on the authoritative place. So I think for that scenario is more influential. And then for my kids, just to tag on that real quick, I come from a place of authority, but I also understand that my kids may not always accept everything I say. So I try to go from a place of influence. I try to encourage their cousins, their friends, their sisters, Basically, so they will come from a place of influence, knowing that I have their best interests at heart, because they might not always hear it from me, but they might hear it from somebody else.
Sure.
I think it just made me think about God literally gave us the instructions for both. When it comes to the children, he said, train them up.
Correct.
So when it comes to, when I think of training, I think more of the authoritative aspect, you know what I mean? But also, as a trainer, as someone, I'm training someone, I wouldn't go to a personal trainer that's not in shape.
Solid.
You know what I mean?
Solid.
Because
I'm working on the building. It's a true foundation. I'm holding up the blood. I'm working on the building. It's a true foundation. I'm holding up the blood. I'm working on the building.